They told you to dream big, but they never taught you how to build it. They told you to work hard, but they never showed you how to make your money work harder. And so here you are, standing at the edge of a future that no one prepared you for. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to wonder how the wealthy stay wealthy, even when the world is falling apart? When jobs vanish, when markets crash, when inflation eats into savings like termites in the walls of your security, they rise, not because they hustle harder, not because they're luckier, but because they understand a truth most people never even think to look for, that you don't get rich by working more hours. You get rich by learning how to let your money work while you sleep. This isn't fantasy. This is mechanics. This is discipline. This is financial truth that transcends luck, talent, or timing. Most people will spend 40 years of their life trying to earn their way to freedom, only to find out, too late, that freedom was never something you could earn by the hour. Freedom is built slowly, consistently, methodically, through compound decisions, not compound effort. Because let me be clear, your labor is noble, your ambition is powerful, but unless you learn to escape the trap of trading time for money, you will always be one missed paycheck away from collapse. It's not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep, how much you grow, and how much you understand the silent game being played behind closed doors, the game of the index, the game of ownership, the game of letting every dollar become an employee working 24/7 for your future. You don't have to be a hedge fund manager to build wealth. You don't need to memorize tickers, track earnings, or chase trends. You need one thing: understanding. Because understanding gives you control, and control over your emotions, your decisions, your future is the first form of wealth. They don't teach this in school. Why would they? The system needs workers, not owners, needs spenders, not savers, needs debt slaves, not free thinkers. But the moment you learn the power of ownership, of simplicity, of compound interest and patient wealth, you'll see it. You'll see why the wealthy don't panic when the market dips. They celebrate because they know the rules. They know what most people fear is their opportunity to buy. They know the secret John Templeton understood when he became a billionaire, that the time to invest is not when the sky is blue, but when the thunder rolls and everyone else is running for cover. Because wealth is not built in times of certainty. It's built in the chaos. In the discipline, in the habit of doing what most people won't, so you can live the way most people can't. Now hear me. There is no magic stock. There is no shortcut. There is only the truth. And the truth is, the simplest path to wealth is the most overlooked one. You want to know what Warren Buffett, Jack Bogle, and Ray Dalio all agree on? It's not beating the market. It's owning the market. It's putting your money where America grows, across the 500 biggest companies in the country, and letting time do the rest. It's called index investing. It's not sexy. It's not complicated. But it works. It works because it removes the two things that destroy wealth faster than anything else: emotions and fees. You know what steals from your future more than taxes? Fees. Management fees, advisor fees, expense ratios, invisible thieves with a smile. You think you're investing, but if you don't know what you're paying, you're bleeding. You want to keep 100% of your returns. Only index. Low-cost funds, long-term. Horizon. Automated, unemotional, unstoppable. Because over 30 years, a 1% fee doesn't just nibble at your savings. It devours hundreds of thousands of dollars you could have had. That's not strategy. That's sabotage. But the system is designed for that, because complexity keeps you confused, and confusion keeps you compliant. But the moment you open your eyes, the moment you realize you don't need to be an expert, you just need to start, everything changes. This is not a pep talk. This is a wake-up call. You don't need to hit it big. You don't need to win the lottery. You need to be consistent. You need to be disciplined. You need to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start planting now, because the tree of freedom grows slow, and it grows only for those who commit to water it, day after day, year after year, without needing to see results tomorrow. That's the game. And those who understand it, they sleep better, they live freer, they walk through recessions with confidence and raise their children with peace, because they're not waiting for someone else to hand them security. They built it. You can too. You don't need more income. You need more intention. You don't need more hours. You need more ownership. And you don't need to wait for someday. You need to begin today. Because the best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. It begins with a decision. Not a giant leap, not a dramatic move, just a decision. One that says, I refuse to live on the edge of survival. I will no longer chase every dollar like it's oxygen. I am becoming the architect of my own wealth. And the blueprint, it's simpler than you think. Step 1, automate it. Not someday. Not when you're ready. Now. Set it up so every time you get paid, a portion goes straight into ownership. Not savings that sit idle. Not speculation that drains your sleep. Ownership. Into the world's greatest companies. The ones that move every time you tap your phone, take a sip, swipe a card, or scroll a feed. Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft. They grow because the world keeps turning. And when you own them, you grow to. Step 2. Forget about it. Yes. Forget. Because wealth doesn't come from watching the market. It comes from living your life while the market works in the background. It's not the genius who checks the charts 10 times a day that wins. It's the everyday person who invests once a month and doesn't touch it. No panic. No greed. Just peace. Because every time the market dips, the world panics. But the wealthy, they don't flinch. They buy. Because they know the storm isn't the enemy. It's the sale. It's the moment when everyone else is running out that they are walking in. And that takes something more powerful than knowledge. It takes emotional mastery. Because let me tell you, your financial life will never exceed your emotional fitness. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if you crumble when the news turns red, if you pull your money the first time it dips, if you sell in fear and buy in greed, you've already lost. The greatest investors in history aren't the smartest. They're the calmest. They are unshakable. And they became that way not because they had perfect timing, but because they trained their nervous system to not react when the market dropped in 2008. Paul Tudor Jones didn't run. He rose when tech imploded in 2000. Ray Dalio wasn't afraid. He was prepared. They don't play the game emotionally. They play it intelligently. Strategically. With decades in mind, not headlines. And that's the difference between rich and broke, between anxiety and peace, between scarcity and abundance. Because wealth is not about numbers. It's about identity. You don't become a millionaire by chasing it. You become a millionaire by deciding that your identity is someone who builds wealth. Then you back that identity with action. Every week, every month, every year, you show up. Not to grind harder, but to own smarter. Because once you set the system sets you free. You are not too late. You are not too broke. You are not too old. And you are definitely not too unqualified. The only thing stopping you is the belief that this game isn't for you. But here's the truth. This game was made for you. The market doesn't care about your background. It doesn't care about your race, your zip code, or your past mistakes. It cares only about one thing. Did you show up? Did you put in the money? Did you keep it there? Did you let time work its magic? That's it. The stock market is the greatest transfer of wealth in human history, and it happens quietly, invisibly, every single day. While the masses spend, the few invest. While most people scroll, the wealthy compound. And that's your path too, if you choose it. But understand this. Index investing is not exciting. It's not dramatic. It doesn't give you adrenaline. It gives you freedom. And freedom, my friend, is worth more than thrills. Because when you own the index, you're not gambling. You're not guessing. You are becoming a part owner of the very world you live in. And over time, the world pays you for showing up early. The question is, will you? Will you commit not with intensity, but with consistency? Will you stop chasing quick money and start building quiet wealth? Will you stop playing someone else's game and finally play your own? Because once you do, you become dangerous. Not because you're richer, but because you're independent. Independent from panic. Independent from opinion. Independent from every boss, bill, or bad month that once held power over you. That's what wealth is. It's not cars or watches or Instagram posts. It's knowing that your future is secured. Because you built it. You didn't wait for someone to save you. You learned the game, and you owned it Most people live on borrowed time and borrowed money. They finance a lifestyle that looks wealthy, but behind every upgrade is anxiety. Behind every luxury is a lie, because real wealth isn't worn, it's invisible. Real wealth isn't loud. It doesn't scream through gold chains or designer logos. It whispers through compound interest. Through peace of mind, through options. Options to walk away, options to say no, options to retire at 40 or not at all. That is the power of real wealth, not what you show off, but what you control. And it all starts with one radical truth. You can't earn your way to freedom. You have to invest your way there. That means rewiring the way you see money. Because most people think like consumers. They see money as fuel for pleasure. But the wealthy, they think like investors. They see money as a soldier, a worker, a system. They don't spend to escape. They spend to multiply. Every dollar has a job. Every job serves the vision. And the vision is always this: freedom, not retirement. Not someday. Freedom as a daily practice, as a lived experience. As a new identity. That means you stop saying, "I can't afford it," and start asking, "How do I own it?" It means you stop chasing the next check and start building the next asset. It means you stop waiting to feel ready and start becoming someone who acts despite uncertainty. Because no one feels ready. Not the first time they invest, not the first time they automate, not the first time they leave comfort for courage, but they do it anyway. Because if you want to become a millionaire, you have to stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like a builder. A builder of systems. Of strategy. Of habits. You want to know how the wealthy stay wealthy? They don't guess. They don't gamble. They build systems that run without them. They make decisions once that reward them forever. That's what index investing is. It's a system. It's the decision to stop reacting and start owning. And it's available to anyone. I don't care if you start with $50 a month. That money is your vote, your declaration, your silent rebellion against the broken game you were born into. Because every index fund contribution says, "I'm not here to rent life. I'm here to own it." You don't need 10 hours a week of research. You don't need to time the market. You need the courage to be consistent, especially when it's boring, especially when no one is clapping, especially when you feel like it doesn't matter. Because that's how compounding works. It looks like nothing until it looks like everything. It grows in silence until one day you look up and you have what most people only dream of. But the trick is staying in the game long enough to win. Because the people who build wealth, they don't quit when it gets hard. They don't pull out because of a headline. They stay calm. They stay invested. They stay focused. And over time, that focus becomes a fortune. Not by accident, not by luck. By design. Because every automated deposit is a brick, and every brick builds a wall between you and anxiety, between you and dependency, between you and regret. And when that wall is high enough, you stand on top of it. Not to hide from life, but to live it on your terms. And that's what this is really about. It's not about money. It's about who you become in the process. Because to build wealth, you have to become someone who thinks long-term, even in a short-term world. Someone who stays grounded when everyone else is losing their mind. Someone who chooses discipline over dopamine, ownership over impulse, vision over validation. And that kind of person, they don't just build wealth. They build legacy. They leave behind more than numbers. They leave behind a map, a model, a mindset that says, "I was here, and I didn't just survive. I built, I grew, I owned." Ownership is not just financial. It's spiritual. It's psychological. It's emotional. Because when you finally take ownership of your finances, you begin to take ownership of your life. You stop pointing fingers. You stop waiting for rescue. You stop blaming your upbringing, your boss, your economy, your government. And you say the words that make the rich richer, the disciplined unstoppable. This is on me. Because once it's on you, it's also in your power to change. That's what they don't tell you. They want you reactive. They want you overwhelmed. They want you to believe that investing is for the elite, that it's too complicated, too risky, too late. But that's a lie. It's not complicated. It's just uncommon. Because most people don't think for themselves, they follow. Most people don't build, they consume. They spend everything they earn and wonder why they're stuck. But you're not here to stay stuck. You're here to break the chain. You're here to end the cycle. You're here to become the first in your family, not just to make money, but to understand it, to command it, to pass it on. And that kind of transformation doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. Daily 1. To delay pleasure. To prioritize the long game. To get excited about 7% returns instead of 70 likes. To understand that quiet wealth will always outlast loud debt. So let's be blunt, you don't need another get-rich scheme, you need a get-rich mindset. One that says, I'm done playing defense. I'm done being confused. I'm done being manipulated by a system that thrives when I don't pay attention. Because attention is your superpower. Where it goes, money grows. So if you give your attention to trends, to fear, to what everyone else is doing, you'll live like everyone else. Broke. Busy. Barely breathing. But if you place your attention on your system, on your habits, on your consistency, on your compounding, you'll wake up one day with an account that bought you back your freedom, and you'll realize it wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was the math of patience. It was the fruit of faith. Faith in your plan. Faith in your future. Faith in yourself. You see, the true reward of investing isn't the millions. It's the man or woman you become on the way there. It's the discipline you build, the delayed gratification you master, the emotional control you sharpen. The pride of knowing you didn't wait to feel ready. You acted. And now, because of that, your money no longer owns you. You own it. That feeling, that freedom, that unshakable security, that's wealth. So let me ask you, once again, not how much are you making, but how much are you keeping? How much are you letting grow? How much are you letting compound in peace, without panic, without pulling? Because you don't rise by guessing, you rise by compounding. Every habit. Every decision, every single automated investment into your future. One day, the people around you will call you lucky. They'll say it must be nice. They'll ask what you did to get so far ahead, and you'll smile. Not because they're wrong, but because they'll never know that while they were chasing, you were building. While they were scrolling, you were growing. While they were spending, you were investing. You were becoming. And now here you are, standing at the crossroads of comfort and courage. One more day of waiting, or day one of building. One more excuse, or one more deposit into your future. Because this moment, this decision, isn't just about money. It's about identity. It's about saying, once and for all, I will not be a slave to my past. I will not be another statistic. I will not hand over my power to a system that profits off my ignorance. This is the day you change your lineage. The day you plant a seed that your children's children will benefit from. The day you step out of survival and step into strategy. The millionaire isn't born, they're built. One choice at a time, one deposit at a time, one day at a time. And you're the builder now. But understand this, you will be tested. There will be months where it feels like nothing is happening. There will be crashes, corrections, and chaos. There will be voices telling you to pull out, to cash out, to give up. Ignore them, because the storm always passes, and every storm carries the seeds of the next boom. The market doesn't reward panic. It rewards patience. The market doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about your discipline. The market doesn't care if you're scared. It only asks, did you stay the course? And if you did, it will reward you in ways that no job, no paycheck, no employer ever can. Because money that works for you never calls in sick. It never needs a break. It never asks for a raise. It just compounds, faithfully, quietly, eternally. And with each passing year, you become more than just an investor. You become free. Free from living check to check. Free from asking permission. Free from wondering if you'll be okay. Because you already are. You built it. You owned it. And now, it's paying you back, not just in dollars, but in dignity. In time. In peace. In power. So if you remember nothing else from this journey, remember this: wealth is not what you chase. It's what you commit to. It's not what you flash. It's what you protect. And it's not built by genius. It's built by grit. Start with what you have. Start where you are. But for the love of your future, start. Set the system. Automate the deposit. Track your fees. Ignore the noise. Trust the process, because someday, decades from now, you will look back at this moment, this exact moment, and whisper to yourself, that was the day I turned the tide. That was the day I took the wheel. That was the day I stopped working for money and made money start working for me. That day is today. So go. Become the quiet investor, the patient millionaire, the calm storm in a chaotic world. The builder no one saw coming until it was too late to catch up. This is your time. Your system. Your legacy. Your life. Own it.